So hi everybody and welcome to our Spring 1 2019 Town Hall. I'm so glad to see everybody. It's always so wonderful and exciting to come together as a community. One of the things that CMHC Online is well known for is our sense of community, and part of that starts with the Town Hall. We have a Town Hall every term except the term that we have our virtual conference. I want you guys to go ahead and put on your calendars our virtual conference day. It's going to be April 10th through 12th. The call for proposals is going out this week. So I know there's many of you on this call that have participated in the conference and who I hope will be continuing to participate in the conference as presenters. And it's just a wonderful experience. Dawn, I'm going to put you on the spot if you don't mind for a second, Therese, if you don't mind.
Hi.
Hi. So just a little brief blurb of what was it like to participate in the virtual conference?
Oh, the virtual conference. That was so much fun. I guess I was the first presenter, which is what you told me. So the nerves were
You
high.
were the very first.
I was the very first person to ever present. Dr. LA was kind enough to tell me that after I presented, because otherwise you would have seen a full panic attack. It was difficult, but fun. You have to know your subject pretty well to be able to answer good 15, 20 minutes worth of questions. I think I handled them lovely. I hope. I think I did the topic somewhat justice. It's a great resume builder. It was fun to watch other conferences. I learned a ton from my peers. You learn about everybody's passions and where they're headed. So there's a nice personal aspect there. And you never have to present on something you wouldn't love or find very interesting. So I encourage everybody to do this at least once, and I might do it again.
Thanks, Therese. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So one of the things that's really awesome about the virtual conference is it gives you a chance to collaborate with your peers. You can collaborate with alumni. You can collaborate with faculty. It gives you a chance to really connect and learn about something, and also, like Therese said, get something on your resume and, really start to build your resume and make connections. Because when you work with somebody on a presentation and you present together, it just makes it a stronger collaboration. All right, so that's something that's really big and important. And then I want to also call on Jennifer Tufts, if she can please talk to us about our Chi Sigma Iota chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I unmuted now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So Theta Chi Sigma, we are now an officially recognized chapter of Chi Sigma Iota, yay, which is the International Honor Society for Professional Counseling and Professional Counselors. Our mission statement is that we promote scholarship, research, professionalism, leadership, advocacy, and just all around excellence in counseling. So I'm the vice president, Jim Mulhern is the president, Lala is the secretary, and Allison was just elected our treasurer. And we have meetings, member meetings every third Monday of the month right now. Please get involved. If you are a member, come to the meetings. If you're not a member, see if you are eligible and apply. We do a lot of really awesome stuff.
Lots of awesome stuff. And we have lots more awesome stuff coming. So we're very excited. And Dr. Crowley and I are the co-advisors for Theta Chi Sigma. So you can also ask us questions as well, and be on the lookout for information about that. I'm going to share my screen just briefly, and I want you guys, because I know we have a lot of new students who are just joining us in the spring, I want to stress the importance of staying connected and staying informed. And the best way to do that is through the CMHC Advising Forum, which we work really hard on to keep very current. And this is your go-to place. It's like your one-stop shop where you can find information. We're constantly updating it. I've got some videos I need to add this weekend, actually, coming up. I'm going to add some assessment videos and things to it. But you can go through here and find information. If you're a student who's been with us for a while, I'd encourage you to go into the Advising Forum and take a new look at it, because we have updated a lot of information. And we've added new resources and all sorts of really cool features. So, and I just really want to call out Colleen and the GA team, because they've done a tremendous amount of work on this. So thank you so much. We also have an updated version of our student handbook. we don't want to make sure everybody is reviewing and looking at. So make sure that you take time to glance through the student handbook. Lots of great information, resources, and support to help you. All right. So that I will stop sharing, but make sure you go to CMHC. If you don't have the CMHC advising forum on your dashboard in Canvas, reach out to Colleen as soon as possible because she can connect you and make sure you get that resource. It should stay with you through every term that you're with us. So that should be a constant, ongoing class access that you have, and it'll always give information. We encourage you to go in there 2 or 3 times a week to check announcements and see what's going on. So, Colleen, why don't you reintroduce yourself just in case some people weren't here when you introduced yourself, and then we'll go through the faculty.
Yeah, can do. Hi, everybody. I'm Colleen Malone. I'm your department manager. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. And I just wanted to say welcome to our new students who just started this spring 1 term, and welcome back for those of you who have come back from our winter break. As a department manager, I kind of do every and all things between LA and your other faculty. So, don't hesitate to reach out with questions, concerns. Happy to connect you to, a resource if I can't answer your question. So, and I know, I don't think she's here tonight, but I just wanted to briefly introduce Amanda Morley. She's your student support counselor, and she's fantastic. So she's going to be your go-to for a little more policy-related questions and registration and course schedule questions in addition to your faculty advisor. So, and her information is on the advising form as well. So just wanted to shout out to Amanda. She's great. She's such a good resource. So use her wisely. And then just a quick reminder, if you're calling in, please either chat me or email me if your full name isn't in Zoom, because when I pull attendance, it's going to pull your name that's shown in the participant list. So Justina, you're lucky that you're the only Justina in the program, and I know who you are. But if you guys can just double check your names in the participant list and make sure that there's a first and last name so you get credit for being here, that would be great. Thanks.
Yep. And a couple of people are showing up like iPhone and things like that. So you can actually edit that. If you put your cursor over that name, you can actually correct it and change it and rename yourself so that it shows your name. A little quick announcement about advising. I just want to stress to everybody, and most of the returning students know this, you have your student support advisor and a faculty advisor, and both those relationships are critical. Your faculty advisor is your mentor. That's the person who can advocate to the end of the world for you, and they're going to be able to advocate for you better if they know you, and you really need to stay in touch with them, reach out to them, and connect with them. And we have a few of our advisors with us tonight. So I'm going to ask Dr. Christy Eldridge to come on first, and then followed by Dr. Amy Crowley. And if you guys could introduce yourself, I would really appreciate it.
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. E. And I see some familiar faces from a couple of my classes tonight. So I'm coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And I'm currently the professor for CM500 along with Professor Van Meter, and also for grief counseling. So it's nice that I have a contact with a lot of you this term. And I'm mostly faculty advisor for those of you out here in the West, as well as those of you in Michigan and some in Wisconsin. So definitely reach out to me if we need to connect. I'll be sending out some kind of fun advising emails in the next couple of days, so be on the lookout for those. And otherwise, glad to see you all here tonight.
Dr. Crowley.
Dr. Amy Crowley. I am super excited to see our participant list has 65 names on it. That is just amazing. So this is going to be an awesome town hall. Very excited to have Dr. Sean Smith here to talk with us. Most of you on here, I'm seeing a lot of very familiar names. It's great to see everyone. Like Dr. E, I am a professor in the program. I teach currently human sexuality and am a university supervisor for our internship 2 group. I also teach the addictions course fairly frequently. I am the faculty advisor for students in Florida, which is where I am currently located, and also Pennsylvania, which is where I moved from and remain licensed in that state as well. So I'm, again, just really excited to see everyone and to hear about this exciting opportunity for our department with the ANCD.
Okay, great. I also want to give, I noticed that 3 of our other student leaders are on here, Allison, Jim, and Lala. If you could come in and just introduce yourself. Allison, you want to start us off? You might be on mute if you're trying to talk.
Thank you. Yes, hi everybody. I'm sorry my video conference isn't working right this moment, but hopefully you can hear me. I am just coming in. This is my first year at the Chicago School. I just finished up rounding the corner toward the 2nd year. It's been great so far. I've enjoyed meeting everybody. I'm looking forward to residency 2 next summer.
I'm here, y'all. I've been fighting with my connection here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can. Let Allison finish and then you can go, Jim.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay.
No, it's fine.
It's just you, Jim. If it were anybody else, I'm just kidding.
Aw.
Yeah, so I am just kind of figuring out where I'm going to eventually specialize. I'm really digging anxiety and PTSD and considering doing some work in animal assisted therapy. So I just submitted my first proposal for presenting at the Humanistic Association. So I'm looking forward to getting some feedback on that, good, bad, or indifferent. And yeah, I'm here if you want to reach out, if you have any questions, want to commiserate about this beautiful weather in Minnesota. And that's about it.
Thanks, Allison. Jim?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm not, like I said, my connection's a little goofy here. I've been kind of fighting with Zoom all day, but so I'm in my halfway point, it seems. I'm wishful thinking, hoping that it's moving, that I'm past that, but I don't think I am, whether I want to be or not. So I am, let's see, what about me here? I'm down in Houston, so I apologize if you guys are fighting weather. I'm not fighting it, but I can relate. And my interests, as far as I think what my future holds, I'm looking to work with sex offenders. I currently work with CPS down here in Houston, Child Protective Services. So I'm working on the victim side, and I think that my main research and hopefully practice will be on the offender side. Hopefully looking to work with the justice system and forensics in that way and make it work, hopefully make a change. So.
And just like Jennifer said, Allison has recently been elected treasurer of Theta Chi Sigma. Jim is the president of Theta Chi Sigma. And then Lala, you want to introduce yourself quickly, and then we'll move on to our guest.
Hi, all. I'm Lala Elapano. I'm also down here in Houston. I am your Theta Chi Sigma secretary. Jim refuses to believe that we're not as close to the end of our program as he thinks he is. So I am his constant reality check that we have more time left in our program than he thinks.
If I check out now, it will be bad.
No. Same, we initially bonded at work. We both work for CPS. We both work in the same office. So he's like a few cubicles down from me. We bonded over our keen interest in working on the offender side. I'm also interested in prison reform, in like intimate partner violence, domestic violence, traumatic brain injuries, and things like that, and how it impacts, counseling as a whole. I also am I love trauma, so I'm super interested in how, yoga impacts trauma. So that's a little about me. And before I turn it over, happy Founders Day, Sherry. I forgot to text you.
We have lots of sorority sisters, right? Lots of them. So Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Everybody's wonderful. These 4 individuals have put in a lot of time. Allison's starting to put in time into launching Theta Chi Sigma, and it felt like that was important to recognize as we now are looking at launching our second major student organization, which is the topic of conversation for tonight, that we wanted to talk to everybody about. So we invited Dr. Sean Smith. Dr. Smith is the current AMCD president, and he has a long history of leadership and advocacy in our field. And I wish we had 2-3 hours to spend with him so that we could learn and soak up all of the knowledge that he has to offer as a counselor educator, supervisor, former dedicated member of the military, having served multiple tours. He just has so much information that he could bring to us and share with us. But tonight we're focusing specifically on AMCD, and so maybe we'll have it back for some of the other things that he can share with us. And he's also brought, I believe, Ashley along, the student rep for AMCD. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Smith so that he can share more about his role as the AMCD president, and they can talk about, where we may be headed with this as a chapter of AMCD. Dr. Smith, thank you for being here so much.
Dr. Stretch, thank you. And Dr. E, Dr. Crowley, I think I seen Dr. Rush Wilson on there, and any other faculty that I've missed. Great to see you. To the officers, CSI officers, thank you for the invite and organizing. Miss Malone, I am here, so you can put me down and credit me for being present. I appreciate that.
Will do, Sean. Dr. Smith, sorry.
And I want to, before we do anything else, I want to bring on Ashley Rabus, who is our graduate student rep for AMCD. Ashley.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Rabes. As Dr. Smith stated, I am the graduate student representative for AMCD. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, a doctoral student at Georgia State University, and I'm excited to share with you all a bit about what the students have going on within AMCD. Do you want me to talk a bit about that now, Dr. Smith, or do you want me to pass it back to you?
No, what I like for you to do is just, since we're here with other graduate students, what I'd like for you to do is share how you got involved with AMCD, your path, or you got started. But before we do that, I want to wanted to welcome some of my students to this forum. I spoke with Dr. Stretch, and she said it was okay. So I've invited some of my students. I currently doing supervision at this hour. So we took a break, and we're learning a little bit about AMCD and our division. And they're actually in a similar program as each of you. So there is like, and it increases the network. So I appreciate you allowing my students to join us in this process.
The more the merrier.
Ashley.
Dr. Smith or Ashley, I think we also need to make sure everybody knows what AMCD is, because I'm not sure everybody knows the acronym.
Okay, I'll speak to that. So AMCD stands for the Association for Multicultural Counseling and Development. So you'll hear AMCD shorthand a lot. And I'll speak to how I got involved in AMCD. So I got my master's at the University of Central Florida in 2017. But when I first got to UCF, I kept hearing in my intro class from professors, get involved, join an organization, join ACA, pick a division that you like, get involved. And I kept hearing that. And then I had a class with Dr. Kent Butler, who's a past AMCD president. He's a professor at UCF. And I took the multicultural course with him, and I just fell in love with it. And I realized it was an interest of mine, both clinically and research-wise. So I did join ACA and the AMCD division, and immediately Dr. Butler put me to work. So he had me helping out with the conference committee. So within AMCD, there's a ton of committees for like all the things that we have going on, and he was the conference committee chair that year. And that was when ACA was in San Francisco, California. And I just helped out with like conference events, and AMCD is notorious for like having the best conference events at ACA. And so I was helping out to plan and execute everything with that. And that was interesting because it was my first ACA conference, and I went as a master's student, and it's my first time in California, first ACA conference, first time getting involved with AMCD, and I just kind of went and jumped right on in. And I think from the very beginning, I felt at home. So it's really nice for me, and I feel I'm validated and just comforted by being around a lot of people who are interested in the same things as me, and who are passionate about the same concerns and about the same client populations and all those things. And so I think I was kind of gently pushed in by a professor, and then I felt right at home, and I was able to get more involved. So the year after that, I participated in, we have a mentoring program through AMCD. And it's really cool. You get to do research and present on your research agenda, and you get like a lot of feedback from AMCD past presidents who are some pretty heavy hitters. And so that was a cool experience for me. So I did that, and then I've just been on committees here and there over the past few years. And then obviously this year, the 2018-2019 year, is my year as graduate student rep. So that's exciting. All the committee positions, we call them graduate student liaisons, so like liaisons to the committees. And so I kind of oversee all of those. And we meet bi-weekly via Zoom, just like this, to check in with each other. And I communicate the needs of all the AMCD students to the executive council, and we meet. So yeah, that's how I got involved, and a little bit about what we do. And I'm interested in learning about how I can help, or how I can communicate needs or communicate resources, and just help you all to, get your AMCD to what you want it to be. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Ashley. So I'm going to give you just a real quick brief breakdown of AMCD history, how we fit into ACA in the professional realm. All right. And then want to move to open it up. Talk about a little bit of what we're doing this year. All right. And talk about how, if you're interested, how you may get involved in some of the initiatives, and then open it up for each of you for any discussions, questions you may have. Does that work for everyone? All right, excellent, excellent. So the first thing is I need your support this evening. It's a little late, and I am shy, I'm withdrawn, and I'm learning to work through that. So I need your support as I do that. Can you help me out?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Ashley. I got one person that said yes. They helped me out. Excellent.
Woohoo!
So, AMCD is a division of the American Counseling Association. It's one of 19 divisions of the American Counseling Association. AMCD was founded in 1972, that year in the conference that was being held in Chicago. AMCD's initial name was the Association for Concerns of Non-White Counselors. All right, and the reason for the initial start of the division was that many counselors felt that there was not a space or not enough attention being paid to racial and ethnic minorities within the counseling field, from the perspective of individuals that were being trained to be clinicians, or any research or work being done and conducted around individuals that were receiving or seeking out or having access to mental health services. Fast forward that to 1985, and we have our current name, the Association for Multicultural Counseling. The purpose for that name change was to be much more inclusive in our aim as a division on what we would be focusing on. So today, AMCD, we still have a very strong focus around working with ethnic and racial minorities, all right, and helping them to gain access to mental health services, putting out research, best practices, evidence-based models that support working with this population, and also preparing clinicians to work with these populations and recruiting diverse clinicians. In addition to that, we support and advocate for the needs of all marginalized populations, all right? So I want to be very clear about that. If there is a particular group or an entity that does not have access to mental health services, we are part of that process of advocating for them, and we advocate in a number of different ways. One is through our journal, the Journal of Multicultural Counseling, that has been in existence since 1975. Dr. Sarisi West Olatunji is the editor for our journal. So that comes out twice a year. We also have, she is actually currently working on another outlet for research and publication around multicultural and social justice issues within the field. She's working on, her and the editorial board is currently working on developing a website, for a peer reviewed website for individuals to submit to put out evidence-based and theoretical-based strategies, interventions that individuals can use to work with marginalized populations. So that's one piece. As I indicated, AMCD is a division, one of the 19 divisions of ACA, and our structure is set up such as we have a governing council, which we call executive council, that's made up of 13 voting members. Our division is broken up between ethnic concerns groups and regions. So currently, our structure is that we have 4 ethnic concerns groups: our African American concern group, our Latinx concerns group, our Native American concerns group, and our Asian and Pacific Islander concerns group. And then we have 4 regions. We have the North Atlantic region, we have the Southern region, we have the Midwest region, and we have the Western region. So those are our breakdowns within that make up our executive council. And then we have our student representative, which you've met, which is Ashley. And then we have 3 task force currently. Those 3 task force are focusing on women's concerns, focusing on international concerns, and focusing on multi-ethnic, multi-racial concerns right now. All right. And that's the makeup of our executive council. Additionally, we have some specialized committees and things such as that. But I don't want to bore you with that makeup, but those are the individuals who are voting members. And some of the things that we're working on currently this year is a webinar series. And our webinar series is focused on specifically addressing the mental health disparities gap for marginalized populations. So what we have done is actually looked at individuals in the field of health care, all right, stepping outside of mental health and collaborating with public health collaborating with nursing, collaborating with sociology, collaborating with physicians. And we've invited these individuals that have been doing work with ethnic, racial populations, class, gender, LGBTQ, and elderly, and have looked at who has been doing public policy work, who has been doing clinical work, and who has been doing research with these particular groups as it pertains to access to mental health. And each month we've been providing 2 webinar series on a particular topic. All right. So the focus of this has been that we are going to host a multicultural social justice summit in June in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be a 2-day summit where we're going to be bringing in individuals that are doing this work and sitting down and talking about how can we address this gap, this mental health disparities gap among these particular marginalized groups. All right. So that's one initiative that we're doing right now. Another initiative we're doing is we are re-engaging and connecting with our state branch divisions. All right. So like ACA, AMCD has state branch divisions. All right. So as I indicated, ACA is the mothership, right? The parent professional organization in counseling. And the divisions are the siblings, all right? The offspring of ACA. Well, there are 56 state branch divisions of ACA. Within those state branches, there are state branch divisions. And right now, AMCD has roughly 36 state branch divisions. What we are exploring, and this is one of the other initiatives that I was referring to, what AMCD is currently exploring right now is a new way of connecting with individuals nationally that are interested in doing work around multicultural and social justice issues. And one way we're doing that is seeing if chapters can be developed in programs across the country and internationally. And programs that are hybrid, very much like your program, all right? And the reason for that is there are some state branches that may not have an active AMCD state branch, but they may have enough individuals in the area that are interested that are connected virtually. So we're looking at ways how we may be able to do that. So another, well, that's all I'm going to share right now. I want to open this up to some questions. We have some other initiatives, some collaborations with other divisions, which we'll get to, but I've talked enough. I want to open it up, and Ashley and I are here to take some questions that anyone may have. And what I would ask is that everyone not speak at the same time, because I know you're excited and you're really ready to jump in and talk. So if you could just simply raise your hand and we'll call on you and then we'll go from there. All right. So
Dr. Smith, that might be a little hard because we have 3 screens. We have over 65 people. So if somebody has a question, they can say, I have a question in the chat. We'll call on them because I want to make sure everybody has a chance. You don't have to put your question in the chat. Just put that you have a question and we'll call on you. All right. So the first one up is Lala.
I type fast. I know that there was an announcement, and I think this is more towards our leadership. There was an announcement made about the AMCD summit, that they were looking for a graduate student committee. Is that still something that's going on, or is that not? I know that was all the way back in August because I applied for it.
Yes, yes. That is for the summit, for individuals that'd be interested in helping out with the summit. And that has closed. I think it closed on November 30th. If you applied, Dr. Adrienne Irby is the summit coordinator. Reach out to her and she'll put you in contact with the liaison for that committee, who is Dr. Tiffany Gonzalez. She's the one that's going to be coordinating graduate student volunteers. And I will certainly pass that information, this contact information, on to Dr. Stretch so she can post it in the advisor forum.
And then Sherry.
My question is, does AMCD have any play in providing assistance to understanding how policy works? When you said you go into the healthcare, providing resources or information, because most people understand the end results like healthcare costs, medical costs, but they don't understand how actually policy works in order to get those types of, for example, bills passed, or how costs increase based on the large businesses that run these type of corporations. So is there any type of information resources that are given to individuals regarding policies?
Yes, yes, and we're actually working on strengthening that. Currently, we have a public policy and advocacy committee that's led by Dr. Audrey Ilion. And her primary role in that position is to be the liaison between ACA, government relations, and other state branch divisions to see what's going on in those particular areas as it pertains to public policy, legislative, and talk about what's working, what's not working, and come up with potential strategies around that process. In addition to that, on a state level, I am in Florida, transitioning to North Carolina, but in Florida, and twice a year, here in Florida, we do a public policy and advocacy day at our state capitol. And what we do there specifically is we attend all the sessions, the ongoing sessions in Tallahassee. Leading up to that, we develop public policy that and legislation that may be put forth on a state level that will impact mental health, marriage and family, school counseling. We research that, we determine the pros and cons, and then we go to Tallahassee to speak to that. In July of each year, members of AMCD, along with ACA, go to DC and meet with our federal representative and senators to speak on national mental health issues in those particular areas. So most recently, we're focused on Medicaid and Medicare. We're also focused on school-based mental health currently, and the implications of training individuals to do that work in the school system, and any particular funding and public policies to help with that. So yes, the short answer to that is yes, we do some, and we're working on strengthening the public policy and advocacy piece, specifically on the legislative level.
Dr. Smith, while everybody else is thinking about all these wonderful questions they're going to ask you, I was wondering if you might share a little bit about your own path to leadership. I know that you've been asked many times to consider ACA presidency, which you haven't done yet, but maybe you will. But I'm wondering, how did you get to a point where now you're AMCD president? What was your path, and what would a student need to do to start working on that if they wanted to become a leader in our profession? And what advice would you give them as they begin that?
Certainly. Well, when we talk about just leadership, just talk about leadership, not professional leadership, but just leadership. That was planted. That seed was planted by Rhonda Holland when I was about 10, and
That's his mother.
Rhonda Holland would be my hero, and that would be my mom. And what I mean by that is, I was one that was raised in the church and very active in the church. And my mother was the choir director. I'm the oldest of three. And what that meant for us is I was the president of the youth choir. My sister was the vice president, and my brother, who is younger, ended up being the treasurer. So we were in leadership positions very young. And not only in leadership positions, but in a servant leadership position, meaning I'm here to serve others. I'm here because I'm able to be here and I want to help. So that particular spirit was planted in us very young, and it just simply is carried over professionally. Hence why we're in the field of counseling. We know that we may not be compensated financially as much as we want, but we certainly are compensated in many other ways, relationships being one. So I started being involved really as a graduate student in my master's degree program on a local level. I think we were creating we had a counseling club, and I think I was like the secretary of the counseling club. And as a result of that, I kept my mouth open, and I probably should have kept it quiet, and I kept getting asked to do other things and other things. That led to being president of the Pennsylvania Counseling Association, which is a state branch, which is where and how I met Dr. Amy Crowley. She was very actively involved at that time. And then I became involved with AMCD at that point in time as well. Later relocated to Florida, became president of the Florida Counseling Association, became involved in the American Counseling Association Southern Region, where I've been a Southern Region chair. And then again, AMCD has always been my home base. It's been a space for me to be me. And through those relationships and mentorship opportunities, just continue to grow. And someone said, "Oh, you should run." Actually, they didn't say you should run. They said it's your time. So it's my time to, again, honor those that came before me in the counseling field within AMCD, and continue to sustain what AMCD stands for and adjust accordingly to what's going on currently around AMCD and social justice issues. So in regards to Dr. Stretch's question of ACA president, I did not get into this leadership for anything else but to serve. And one job at a time. That's one job at a time. Let me finish one job at a time. But that's something that I'm not seeking at this time, and don't see it. But that's something I'm not seeking. But I'm here to serve others, however way I can do that.
So Anastasia asked something similar. She's asking about what advice would you give a graduate student wanting to grow into a leadership role? Great. Anastasia is another of our student leaders. She is always willing to serve.
Great question. Great question. I want to, Ashley, you want to take this one?
Sure. I was hoping that you would ask me that, actually. I think my first piece of advice would be to join the organizations. And I say that because that's where like a lot of the news comes from, like news about positions and opportunities and events and all those things. Like they come from the email that you have associated with like your memberships in organizations. So I'm not sure like where everyone is with that. I know that You've got CSI going on currently and all those things, but I would definitely recommend joining ACA if you haven't already. And then taking a look into the 19 divisions, preferably AMCD, but whatever divisions pique your interest and align with like the population that you want to serve or just an interest of yours, I suggest joining the divisions from there, and just being on the lookout for opportunities. So I think that from my personal experience, I feel like there's like this widespread initiative, maybe informally, but initiative for like student programs and development. So you'll see like awards for students or like scholarships for students or this essay contest or this graduate student role similar to what I'm a part of, or liaison positions for committees. And even when we're talking like conferences and things like that, there are events specifically for students. So I would take advantage of that. I feel like, I'm a student still, but I can't imagine like being a professional and like licensed and trying to like get into the divisions and organizations from there. I feel like it is a lot easier as a student. So I would definitely suggest getting involved with the divisions, taking advantage of the opportunities that are advertised, reaching out to people. I know like when I first started, I was kind of pulled in by Dr. Kent Butler, but I did connect with a doctoral student who I had connected with at one of the events. I just kind of clung to her and was like, hey, if you have anything that you think would be a good fit for me, this is what I'm interested in, shoot it my way. And just connecting with people that way, I find that just like a genuine interest and a connection, a conversation can lead to a lot of opportunities within the divisions and within the organizations. So membership, simple communication to people that you might have interest with and that are already kind of in the organizations. And I think too, using the conferences as a way to connect. So a lot of divisions, if not all of them, have a lot of events at the ACA conference and even like at the state branch conferences. And so I would suggest, going there, shaking hands, talking to people. And a lot of times there are opportunities to get involved from there. Who was that? Anastasia, did that answer your question?
Yeah, and as Anastasia's asking if you're involved in more than one division than AMCD, and how do you juggle all that?
I see her question now. Okay, I see your question now. So currently, when I was a master's student at UCF, I was involved in AMCD as well as CSJ, and I think Dr. Smith was about to speak to some of the collaborations that we do with other divisions. CSJ is the Counselors for Social Justice. And so as a master's student, I was involved in both of those. And then, like I mentioned, I found a home base within AMCD, and I think I just kind of poured all of my time and energy into that. So currently I'm a member of AMCD and CSJ, but I don't have an active role in CSJ. I still go to events, a lot of events that we do together. I'm up on the news and I know what's going on in the organization. But as far as like a leadership role, like Dr. Smith said, I think it's best to like focus on one role at a time. But I do kind of like latch on to organizations that I see align with what I have going on and focus my energy into one position, but kind of stay involved and plugged in into others. And how do I juggle all my responsibilities? I think that's like a learning process day to day. As a doc student, I'm a first year doc student at that. I'm in my second semester, so it's still very fresh, and I'm in a new city and a new program. So that's a bit of a loaded question. But I definitely stay organized and, time management and making sure that I'm not taking off too much, just as Dr. Smith shared. And so, yeah. And I see a question from Judine asking if my program is online. It's not online. It's the Atlanta campus of Georgia State University. It's all in person. Actually, there are like a couple like departmental classes online, but for the most part, it's an in-person, face-to-face program.
And Dr. Smith, one of the questions was about AMCD's presence at ACA next year, which I know is quite extensive, but, what will AMCD be doing at ACA next year?
Certainly. AMCD has traditionally utilized the ACA conference as part of AMCD's conference. I mentioned the summit that we're doing in June. This is actually the first time we're doing a freestanding event independent of ACA, but traditionally we've incorporated the events. So currently, actually what we're doing right now is putting the final touches on the events that will be taking place in New Orleans. So for example, we'll be participating in our day of service that will take place on Thursday. In addition, we will be having a meet and greet and a first timers event on Thursday from 5 to 6:30, immediately after ACA's first. On Saturday, we'll be having our AMCD luncheon. During that event, what we do is essentially honor some of our members by recognizing them for the work done. A full immersion event. What we typically do is highlight a particular entity within the city that we're in and allow them to present and speak on the history of that. So since we're going to be in New Orleans, you may see some jazz and blues music going on. You'll see some Native American participation and some Latinx engagement. So, and then we have our AMCD mixer, which takes place on Saturday evening from 9 to midnight. That mixer is open to all individuals that's attending a conference of ACA. And essentially, it's an opportunity to kick back and relax and really connect and engage with members and leadership of AMCD. Now, in between those events, we have several presentations that are going to be going on. AMCD specific ones. Ashley is actually presenting one. Ashley, you want to speak on yours?
Yeah, so that's another opportunity. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Another opportunity that has fallen into my lap, being a grad student involved in AMCD, is the opportunity to have like AMCD sponsored sessions. So CSI does them as well, where CSI as a national org will sponsor student presentations. AMCD does that as well. So that was an opportunity granted to me, and I'll be presenting a poster at the ACA conference. So that's really exciting.
And the two other AMCD specific sponsored sessions, one's going to be specifically on AMCD's 5-year strategic plan. When I came in July 1, I put together a committee to develop a strategic plan. This is our 46th year in existence. So I wanted AMCD to have a strategic plan to speak to going into year 50, which is only 4 years away. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to be reporting on that. Also, we're going to, I've asked our VPs of ethnic groups as well as our regional reps to present on their successes over the course of the year, things that they've accomplished. So those are going to be two key areas that we're going to be highlighting on. Additionally, we have a panel of past AMCD male presidents that are going to be speaking on African-American males and mental health. So that's going to be another session. As far as collaboration, CSJ, AMCD, Acervic, as well as Algebatic, we are collaborating, and we're going to be speaking on social justice areas within counseling. That's going to take place at ACA conference. Speaking of the collaboration, those 4 sister divisions, we have already held 3 webinars on various topics ranging from microaggressions for LGBT, persons with disability, and individuals of color. We've also presented a webinar on licensure portability. So we're doing a lot of collaboration with our sister divisions. And as Ashley indicated, we certainly are inviting and encouraging individuals to join AMCD, but we want you to be involved in a profession in any discipline area that you want to be involved in, all right? We're not here to to discourage that. They are our sibling divisions, and they are professional counselors first, and their specialty areas come second. So just know it's important to just simply be involved. And I would add, I would also add in regards to other leadership opportunities, small steps. With NCSJ in your program, write an article to the newsletter, post a blog, something as small as that, and then just continue to be active and involved in it. If you have a state branch division, see what they may be looking for help on, whether it be a conference, that's something that's done, maybe the volunteer table. That time is, maybe 3 hours during the conference, and that's leadership, that's being involved. So you can do time limited, or you can do wide open and increase that. So, and I think we had a question in regards to the intimidation by Dr. Crowley.
Yes. I wanted to piggyback off of what you were just saying, Dr. Smith, before I answer Dr. Crowley's question. But I wanted to share with the students that were asking how I got involved within AMCD, and just share that my first ACA conference, yes, I was gently pushed in by Dr. Butler, but during that conference, I also kind of dated around to different divisions. So I attended specifically CSJ events. I attended a ASGW, the Group Burke division event. I attended just different events and different conference sessions that were sponsored by different divisions that seemed interesting to me. I attended a lot of stuff for child and adolescent counseling because I enjoy working with teens. So I did kind of date around and meet people in different places, and eventually kind of like settled into AMCD. So I encourage you, if you're feeling lost in this conversation, like I don't know where I fall, or I don't know where I feel like I fit in, I encourage you to, at the next conference, go to all sorts of different events. If you think it might be interesting, just plan it out and attend those things and shake people's hands and meet them and see where you feel like would be a good fit for you. So to address Dr. Crowley's question, some students may feel intimidated by the thought of working with professors and professionals in the field when they join an association. Suggestions for students to get involved that's comfortable for them, committees and other opportunities. So I would suggest, like I mentioned, joining the organization, like becoming an official member, because I feel like that will grant you opportunities that you might not have if you're not a member, specifically just like the communication that comes out as, that comes along with membership. And I think too I'm not a very outgoing person. I'm very introverted. So to meet people and shake their hand and tell them I'm interested in them and tell them I want something from them was kind of weird for me at first too. But I remember telling myself like they were probably once in my position as well. And knowing that this is counseling, right? So if this was like business or accounting or like something else, people might be a little cold, but this is counseling. So everyone's nice and inviting and warm and all those good things. But I've never had a negative experience with any leader in any division at all. I find that they're really happy to see students that are earlier in their career. I'm so interested in getting involved. So I would say just go for it, take the risk on whatever that looks like for you. So I did the traditional, like become a member and get the email and sign up for this position, like that sort of thing. But I've also, when I was in the process of searching for doctoral programs, I looked up different programs online, and I was figuring out kind of where I wanted to be. And I looked up faculty for those programs. And at the next conference, I would search, with the ACA, with the online program, you can literally search someone's name or search a keyword or something, and it'll show you like everything that they have on the schedule. So I searched up Dr. Katarina Chang. I knew that she was interesting to me and I loved her work, and I kept coming across her name and things that I was reading, and I was like, I want to know her. Like, I'm pretty sure I can, shake her hand at a conference, attend her presentation, and just let her know that, I'm thankful for her work and I'm interested in getting to know her through AMCD or otherwise. And so I did that. I emailed her, and I was so shocked that she emailed me back in like 30 minutes. I was like, yes, let's set up a time to chat. And this was while I was still a master's student. And so we emailed and had web meetings, and fast forward a year and a half later, I'm now her mentee advisee here at Georgia State. She's a professor at Georgia State, if you didn't know that. So I find that a lot of the professionals and professors are very open to having student relationships. Some of them might be, you know, kind of like Dr. Smith and very, very busy. But I think that they'll communicate that and they'll understand, or they might kind of pair you with someone that is of interest to you as well. So that's more like on the informal level. But like I mentioned with AMCD, we've got the mentoring program. So that's like a very like formal, like you apply for it, you get accepted, and they like pair you with someone based on your interests. And that's like a formal, like year-long thing, which I had a mentor for a year, but I still bother her all the time. So the program is for a year, but a lot of times the relationships last much longer. So there's informal routes, there's formal routes, but just keeping in mind that a lot of times like they understand where you're coming from, and they're typically very open and honored that you're interested in getting involved so early on. As far as committees go, I can really only speak to AMCD at the beginning of each academic or fiscal year. So typically like July, August, September, like around that time. I think I did it in August this year, but I put out through the ACA Connect, which is like the online forum if you have a membership with ACA. There's also like specific forums for the division. So we have like, I don't know if it's called AMCD Connect, but the AMCD discussion on the ACA Connect, that's where like a lot of the communication goes out. So I sent out a call for graduate student liaisons on there. And I got a bunch of emails back and ended up placing different students in different committees that they were interested in. So a lot of those are like year-long sort of commitments. But I know that, like similar to when Dr. Butler kind of, you know, pushed me into the conference committee, there are ways to kind of get involved throughout the year. So if you're interested, our website, which I'll share in a bit, it's got all those people's information that Dr. Smith, those names that he dropped earlier, it has their email addresses and like the committees they serve on. And so if you're interested, it's worth a shot to shoot them an email and say, hey, I'm interested in this. Is there anything that I can do to help out? Or, you know, let me know next time an application for this comes around, or whatever, whichever committee you're interested in. So there's that. But our website is multicultural. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, just put it in the chat. We're going to have to finish up here, and I can also make sure that it's in the advising forum. So, you know, a lot of times with the AMCD, Algebra Tech, all of the different divisions, between all of your professors, most of us have just about every division covered. I'm a member of, I don't know how many, Dr. Smith, what's 9? It feels like a lot of divisions. And so, you know, I try to keep information current in the advising forum about opportunities like what Ashley is talking about. So we try to post those in the advising forum as well as an ACA Connect, because as all of you know, that if you are a student at the Chicago School, you need to be a member of ACA. It is a required component of your program that you be a continuous member of ACA the whole time you're enrolled in our program. I want to thank Dr. Smith and Ashley so much for being with us here tonight and answering questions and sharing their knowledge. I've really appreciated it. This is the type of thing that we're so fortunate to be able to bring to you, especially in our virtual environment. We can bring you experts from the field, you know, Ashley being down in Georgia and Dr. Smith, who I think is currently in Greensboro, North Carolina. You know, they're all over the place, but we're able to come together. Whether you're in Alaska, whether you're in France, you know, we can come together and be together and share in our community. And I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And I will stay on a little bit longer in case anybody has any questions, but I am going to stop the recording at this point. And thank you all. Have a wonderful term, and I will see you in spring too, if not sooner. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
Go Rams.